Alright everybody, welcome back. So I thought it'd be a perfect time to go ahead and step away from top tier, and it's totally not just because I wanted to play, what is by far my favorite vehicle of the update. Now I wanted to go ahead and take a look at how Gaijin is basically unable to balance a lot of these jets that are adding as of late. More on that here in a little bit, but before we get to that, I did just want to let y'all know, you may have noticed looking at my plane, if you are very keen-eyed or if you're in my Discord, I now have a decal. I'm going to flash it up on screen right now. So, there should be a little bit less than a day when this video goes live before the sale ends. So if there's anything you're looking to get and you wanted to snag this decal as well while you're at it, feel free to go ahead. Some context, I had originally wanted to do something like the mustard, F.15 thumbnail as my decal. I was informed that would not do well, unfortunately. Went through a lot of trial and error to get here, and I've always had a soft spot for, like the pinups on old World War II bombers, so whenever I was brainstorming with another CC and they mentioned anime, I was like, hey, that'll work out perfectly, especially because I actually do like anime as well. And before anyone asks, no, she is not supposed to be me, I was thinking if y'all would like, leave suggestions in the comments down below for, like, a name if y'all want to name her. And I'll pick the best ones and put them in a poll or something, and we can decide that way. How's that sound? But in any case, click on the link in the description down below, and you will be able to get 3% off of your next purchase. You'll get the decal as well along with it, and I'll get a cut of the share as well, so it'd help me out. Back to the Hunter, though. This is by far my favorite vehicle they've added this update. I want to play basically nothing else. And there's a very simple reason for that. Just to be quite frank, this thing should not be at 9.0. So this, of course, is the Dutch Hunter F.6. If you've already played the British tree, you will have already used this thing. The only difference is in the British tree, this gets a different set of missiles. It gets 4 of the SRAM instead, which are very agile, 20G thrust vectoring missiles, and they can pull some pretty amazing stuff. The thing is, right, that they're not that great overall, to be honest, just because they have basically no range, and you are then a flareless subsonic at 9.7. The only thing that changes with this is that instead of getting those 4 SRAMs, you now get 2 AIM-9Bs, and you're dropped all the way down to 9.0. That means that you are the same BR as the Hunter F1, the British one that is at 9.0, which has worse flight performance and no missiles at the same BR. At the same time, though, the Hunter FGA-9 is at 9.3, which is also better than this F6 because it has both slightly better flight performance and also better missiles as well against the AIM-9E over the AIM-9B. And this is just an underlying issue that War Thunders has. They added more and more variants of vehicles. You've seen this with other stuff as well. As they're adding these different versions of aircraft, and especially to different nations, they're having to compress more and more because they refuse to move the battle rating up. In the case of this new F6, we already had the J-34 at the same VR as the F1 with missiles, but at least in that case, as you can see, it had a very slightly worse thrust-to-weight ratio than the F1. The Dutch Hunter is just flat out better, and it works out very well for this. I have had an exceptional time playing this vehicle. 9.0 has pretty favorable matchmaking right now. I was mostly getting 8.3, 9.3 games, with some 8.0 games as well sprinkled in there, though not as many. Every once in a while I get a 9.7 game, and then once or twice I got 10.0 games. Now, the frequency of those 9.7 and 10.0 games did increase a lot whenever I was playing with some of my other friends, but that is to be expected because Gaijin has the number of, top tier vehicles in a match restricted. Top tier for that game, at least. This matchmaker leaves you, as most of the time, one of the fastest jets in the lobby because you're fighting a ton of stuff like Saabs or A4s or other Sabres or MiGs, and you are faster than all of them. Now, you will run into some F104s, and those are very, very annoying to deal with, but for the most part, basically everything you can see, you can outrun. And that is what the Hunter does very well. It has that very nice high-speed energy retention and high-speed performance overall, and this works out very well for just normal ARB games. He's basically going back to sort of that boom and zoom style that you might be used to in props. In this case, you're just trying to extend away while remaining close to sea level because you have the best performance there, and essentially you're trying to catch people while they're off guard, beam them with your Aidens, and just speed back off again. The Hunter is not the most agile plane though, like I was having a difficult time shaking F100s, for example. So there will be a lot of cases just like this right here where they pull just inside your guns and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. But you can always just go back up and around and keep going. Only thing is that you do not want to commit to, some sort of a low speed fight. You don't want to be air braking people really. Only do it if you are incredibly confident that you'll be able to get the shot off and that they won't be able to reverse you. The Hunter's thrust peaks at high speeds, as you saw earlier with the thrust chart, and you won't be able to accelerate that quickly to get your speed back up. If you try to commit to some sort of a low speed fight against, say for example, a MiG-17 or a Saber, you are going to lose. So you have to be completely confident that they will not be able to get behind you while you're still slow. Now, provided you're at speed, all you gotta do is just point your nose up, style like maybe 5 or 10 degrees, and just fly in a straight line, and you'll be able to outrun almost anything in the lobby. And the Hunter, while it still does compress some at high speeds, it doesn't compress nearly as bad as like the early Sabres, for example, or the MiG, so you won't have any major issues actually getting off any shots. Speaking of getting off shots, that is probably my favorite thing about the Hunter. These guns actually slam people. It feels like the old days before Real Shatter, where if you hit somebody with 30 mils, they were going to go kablooey basically every single time. Aidens hit like a truck, and you get 4 of them on the Hunter with plenty of trigger time as well. I have very rarely run out of ammo, even with my, less than stellar aim as of late. I've been running air targets for this video, but, stealth also works pretty well. But essentially, anytime you actually hit somebody, they will be vaporized, and it has been like the best part of playing this jet for me. Something like the CL-13 Mark 6, for example, will beat this thing in a dogfight every single time, and even though it can't quite catch you, it is still fairly fast for a subsonic, but it has 50 cals, and so a lot of the time you'll shoot somebody and just get a hit or maybe a crit, or you might set someone on fire and someone comes and steals your kill. You're really not going to have to worry about that with this. And then you also get missiles as well. And, say for example that case right there where I just beamed that Sea-Vixen out of the sky, it can come in very useful. And you're also going to see bombers in down tiers, and not having to chase down that B-57 that has climbed to 10 kilometers in the air is really nice, even though it is still totally capable of doing so. You also fight a lot of people who are new to jets, and so they either don't really know how to dodge the missile, which the AIM-9B is a very easy missile to dodge, or they're just not paying attention. These 9Bs aren't nearly as effective as some of the later missiles that you'll see down the tree, but I mean, hey, if you got someone that is slow or not paying attention, or even just already crippled and you're wanting to finish them off, they are perfect for that. Overall, though, this Hunter has been an absolute blast to play. It is literally the only thing I have played since I first queued it up on stream. Combination of good speed for its battle rating with decent high-speed agility and absolutely amazing guns just makes it really, really, really fun to play. And I'm glad, because I've always had a soft spot for Hunters. Before I go, one little friendly reminder that I do have a decal link in the description down below now, and I mean, hey, if this is your first time seeing my content, maybe my decal led you here, feel free to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you around. So I'll catch y'all next time, and peace, y'all.